everyone. Happy Friday. Yes, we're going to talk about Natasha and Bucky today and get you guys introduced to them. So, as we'll get started, we'll say hi to the whole crew real quick first, though. So today we're going to talk about these two, Bucky and Natasha. Yeah, I'll do a little voiceover with them and some old footage of them as babies. I don't actually know if I have any film, but pictures and stuff like that. So, but everyone is cold. I don't know if you can see them shivering. Natasha's shivering over there. Poor thing. Sorry, it's really zoomed in. But I'm gonna get this place shut up. They have water. They have greens. I'll refill their food in a little bit. And Peaches wants to go outside. I understand. It's freezing though. So, we'll wait until it gets into like the teens at least, and then I'll open it up for them to come outside. But until then, I'm gonna keep things a little shut. Try and keep things warmer. So, yeah. So unfortunately, I don't actually have as much video of Natasha as I would like. Natasha was a little timid at first. So Natasha and Bucky were both older than the others when we got them. I think Wanda and the Ancanas and Carol were around 3 to 4 weeks when we moved them out here. And Bucky and Natasha were closer to about 7, 8 weeks when we brought them out. So they weren't as socialized as the others and weren't as young and able to be socialized. And so Natasha was quite, sorry, yawn. Was pretty timid, but she did warm up eventually. I never got to the point where I could really like hold her or pet her too often. But she would eat out of my hand. She would come hang out next to me. She wasn't really afraid of me anymore. I will say that for a long time, Natasha was easily our prettiest duck. I still kind of think she is. She's very feminine. There was never a doubt that she was a girl. She's got a very clear, muscovy, feminine face and body structure. Yeah, you know, I used to joke that Natasha's personality was like the sweet little girly girl that constantly talks about death. Like, she took risks. She was not, you know, she was cautious, but she wasn't timid. I'll put it that way. I mean, she was the first one. I wish I had video of it, but she was the first one that would be interested in Zephyr. And while they were in the fenced-in area that you can see in the back of this footage, with the little A-frame coop, I'm not kidding you, she would walk right up to the fence and, like, look at him. And, like, they'd be nose to nose. Like, she had zero concern about this dog. I would do random things that the other ducks would be like, quack, quack, and run away, and she would just sit there and watch me. Super chill. NBD, no big deal. So she is brave but cautious. She always kind of kept her distance, never put herself in a position where, you know, she would be in danger, but she also did not run away like the other ducks did. So she definitely is a little more hardcore. But she's really a sweetie. She never picked on the others quite as much. I will say Carol used to pick on her a lot. Natasha was often the one that had her feathers plucked by Carol. You know, sometimes I think it was because, you know, Carol was, like, trying to assert her hen dominance over Natasha for Bucky's affections. But, you know, I might be humanizing them a little bit. There's always that line between duck behavior and human behavior. Natasha's what is another chocolate pied. And as far as I know, she doesn't have anything else in her genetics besides chocolate and white. She doesn't have a lot of caruncles, which I prefer. A lot of show ducks, you want more caruncles, but a lot of like personal backyard ducks don't like their caruncles as much, so they breed for lesser caruncles. I don't really have a preference either way, but Natasha doesn't have a whole ton. She's overall really a sweet duck. She kind of sticks with everybody. She's usually in the middle of the pack, often why it's hard to get more video of her. You know, it's easy to get video of Bucky and Wanda and even Bruce and Helena to some extent because they tend to be like in my face. But Natasha tends to be off to the side a little bit. So I honestly think she's going to be a great mom. I think she's going to be a great brooder. I'm excited to see that. And yeah, so again, I don't know how many eggs I'm going to hatch, or I don't know who yet I'm going to partner her with. She used to be very close with Bucky, but lately she's been chilling out with Wanda more. So I will say she did used to enjoy like chilling out with me, which was kind of cute. I'll try and get some video, but she would sit on the bench behind me, and I have some video that I will make sure gets in here with my little shower cap on because I had my hair curling. I didn't want it to get dirty, but she was just chilling out behind me, hanging out. So yeah, she's a good duck. She was my first flyer out of the crew, and she would take off. Like, she never left the yard, thankfully, my forever worry. But yeah, she would take off, perch on cars, yikes, all sorts of things. So, yeah, if anyone is interested in potentially an adventurous duck who is cautious but not afraid, I imagine that her babies are going to be very easy to socialize because she's actually, you know, fairly easy considering she didn't have much human interaction for the first 6-ish weeks, 6 to 8 weeks of her life. I remember this. She was one of the first ones to try the pumpkin. Again, cautious but not frightened. She's, you know, pretty adventurous for all of her caution. So, an adventurous but cautious and smart duck, and I'm going to guess she's going to have some solid brooding ability. She also has a beautiful dark brown feathering, which I adore. I have gotten a few pets out of her over the years. A few pets out of her over the months. So, yeah. Right next to her is Sylvie. They look a lot alike, but Sylvie has a lot more white on her chest. Natasha primarily has the brown. So, there's our intro to sweet little Natasha. And yeah. And now for Bucky. My big gray Bucky. His color's technically blue. He would be a blue pied, and he has kind of that magpie coloring where he's got the blanket of gray and black coloring on the back and then white along the bottom. Bucky is huge. I don't actually know how big, like, his weight-wise he is, and I don't know how big he is in comparison to other, like, Muscovies in general. Like, if he would be a meat duck, but to me, he's huge. I have not held him in a long time, but I feel like he's got to be like a hefty duck. Yeah, so Bucky was around Natasha's age. They would have hatched about the same time. So when we got him, he was in that, 6 to 8 week, I think about 7 weeks. Looking back at pictures of them on my Instagram. By the way, if you want to see their baby pictures, you can check out my Instagram. I have all of their baby pictures from when I got them on there. First got them, so they would have been slightly feathered, but Bucky was definitely a boy right off the bat. Just like Natasha had that like classic Muscovy feminine look, Bucky had that classic masculine Muscovy look. Surprisingly, he can fly, just barely. He can barely get off the ground, but he's made a few solid jumps in the past. I'm not gonna lie, Bucky's a bit of a jerk. When he was young, he was so chill. Like, I'm going to be honest, everybody bullied poor Bucky. He was one of the first ducks that we had to separate because the others were picking on his feathers so bad and he was bleeding. So he was one of the first ones that we even had to separate because he was getting bullied so bad. And he just let him. Whatever. He took it. It didn't bother him one little bit. It didn't seem to anyway. And then one day he just kind of snapped. It was actually on Stormy. He like whipped around, chased Stormy around like the entire duck run because they were closed in at that point into the fenced area, and I just kind of let him because honestly, she kind of deserved it. They all picked on him all the time. And since then, it just hasn't. He hasn't quite been the same. I'm sure it's just hormones coming in. Muscovy males tend to be pretty protective of more so than other ducks. Wanda used to let me do whatever I wanted to him. Sorry, back to Bucky. Yeah, no, he used to be so chill. Muscovy males tend to be very protective of the female ducks. And I don't know, he just seemed to develop such an aggression. We ended up having to get a couple more females because he was being so aggressive. He almost drowned Helena a few times. We had to put a stop to that. And the extra females have really helped. To this day, I mean, he seems happy. He comes up and greets me every morning. He's always the first one out. It's funny, he seems so brave because he's like the first one out of the coop and things like that, and he kind of leads everybody around. But he's a coward. If you want someone who's going to protect you, Wanda's more likely to protect you than Bucky, although I've never seen Wanda try. Bucky will run if for 1 second he thinks it's not going to work out. Yeah, as he got older, he just got mean. So he's kind of mean, but he's our only blue, so he will definitely be bred this spring. I'm really excited to breed him. You get him flapping his wings back there. Yeah, I guess I don't really feel like I have much to say about Bucky. I mean, okay, so one thing that I love about Bucky is that he is very expressive. I'll post some of the shorts. I think I posted one about him already, but I have a couple shorts on Instagram, and he's like a prime duck actor. Like, he'll turn and look at me at like the perfect time in the video, and he's like, are you being rude? Like, he's so funny. So he's a very expressive duck. Like, I know how he's feeling and what he's thinking. And he's also getting a very big, beautiful crest. I haven't been able to get a nice video of it or anything, but he's got a solid little Muscovy mullet coming in. So yeah, there are a lot of really great qualities that he has, like his expressions, and he's large, and his, Muscovy mullet. And again, the fact that he's our only blue. But he can be mean. In fairness, the other girls seem to be okay putting him in his place. The only one that seems to have had trouble has been poor Helena putting him in his place. All the other girls just kind of run him out of the way when he's getting too excited with them. They just, nope, we're out. Bye. That's that. So, yeah. His best friend is Bruce, which is kind of funny to me, but they hang out all the time. Bucky has even given up a grape for Bruce, which is, that's saying a lot because Bucky loves grapes. Bucky will do anything for grapes. He has followed me all the way across and around the yard looking for grapes because he loves them so much. So he is an A+ grape eater. Yeah, for all of his flaws. So when you're breeding ducks, especially if you're just a backyard breeder, you kind of have to decide what you're breeding them for. And in my case, I want to breed for temperament, coloring, and egg laying. I can't really do much about egg laying because I don't really know their lineage of egg layers. So at this point, I'm primarily trying to pair based on temperament and coloring. And Bucky's such a hard one because in a lot of ways, I don't love his temperament. He's just a little too aggressive. He's a little too forceful with the other ducks. And I don't love that. But at the same time, he's so expressive. He's really friendly with people. He's so funny. But in those ways, I love his temperament. So there's always that debate, as we hatch. Do we keep all of the ducks that we currently have? Or do we replace, for lack of a better word, some of the ducks with new ones that might have better coloring or a better temperament. That's the unfortunate. I just don't, I don't have room to keep every duck I ever hatch, and I don't have room to keep, especially the Muscovy drakes will get pretty aggressive with each other and with other ducks if there aren't enough hens around, and so I just don't have the room to keep more than 2 drakes. I'm already pushing it a bit with the 2 because of how many hens I need for them. So, but Bucky's just so funny to me. He's so funny. I get asked a lot if he's always wagging his tail. And yes, if I'm out there, if the dogs are out there, if somebody else is out there, he is just wagging his tail away. And he does that little head bob and like sound. That's generally like a greeting. That's not really an aggressive. If he were aggressive, he'd be like big and, attacking. And he's not. He's just, hi guys, how you doing? He'll follow me around, but he doesn't like it when I touch him. Yeah, he's just a really funny duck to me, and he's massive. He's huge. I don't think I could ever eat him. But if I were to ever consider a meat duck, he might be my meat duck producer. So I don't know. I don't know if he's big enough for it, to be honest. I think he is. He's huge. So that is Bucky. The door is open. You can see Bucky. That is our big Bucky boy. He's almost everybody's favorite because he's beautiful. I mean, here. Oh, they're thinking about it. He's really light in that video. Bucky's the first. Way darker. As usual. It used to be Wanda was always the first. So, that's Bucky for you guys. Oh my gosh. The more I talk about Bucky, the more I think I remember all the things that I love about him. He is a really good duck. But this video is long enough as it is. So we're going to wrap it up. Maybe I'll do another video later. More about them. But yeah, have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate your likes, shares, subscribes. Appreciate them a ton. And your comments, of course. So yeah, we'll see you guys Monday for a quack chat about, I don't know, and then Wednesday, for sure, for Natasha, Bucky, Sylvie, and Hope will be our next 2. So, yeah. Have a good weekend, everyone. Bye.